Hello, Jacob here. And, well, let's just say, well, first of all, cheers for, yet again, another dominating performance by the Wild. Good God. Yeah, just ask Montreal how that went for them last night. By the way, did I mention that we beat Montreal 8-2? 8-2. And I thought that 7-3 victory against Anaheim was big. Holy crap. So yeah, since last we saw, the Wild, I believe, lost in overtime to the Avalanche. Oh no, lost in a shootout to the Avalanche. And took both games against Chicago and are now 25-10-3 overall, and are still, well, fourth in the Central, but that just tells you how good the Central is in the West, because any of the top teams in the Central could be the division leader in the Pacific at this point, but that's just kind of the way it is. But yeah, the Wild are coming off of just absolutely epic games. Again, the drumming against the Canadiens last night, but oh boy. I'll tell you what, though, this Cam Talbot situation is starting to kind of concern me big time here. Kaapo Kähkönen is looking really good. But the problem is, once we get into February here, in literally about 8 or 9 days, it's going to be a wham bam thank you ma'am, wham bam thank you ma'am schedule for the Wild. Really soon here. It's going to get crazy. So, just how much do you believe in Kähkönen? How much do you believe in Andrew Hammond? Are you going to have to go out there and get another goalie? Will Talbot be fine? It's just, because it sounds like he tweaked the UBI, the upper body, or the lower body injury, I should say, that has had him out since the Winter Classic. The game will, anyway, the game will forget ever existed. Literally, though, that was still kind of interesting, though, kind of going back to that, seeing how literally every single, the beers were slushies. Hell, even the hot coffees froze. But anyway, yeah, that just kind of tells you how cold it's been this month of January up here in the upper Midwest. Holy crap. Yeah, let's just say I will not, be upset to see spring and summer here pretty soon. But anyway, kind of going back to this here, as I mentioned before, the Wild are now 25-10-3, and we start a pretty long road streak, and our next two games are Friday in Madison Square Garden, taking on the New York Rangers, and then Sunday, Minnesota will be in Long Island to take on the New York Islanders. So that's our next two games. And then from there, it gets a little spicy once we get into February. But again, we shall wait and see here, because, again, this team is humming. This team literally has four lines that can roll at any time, from top to bottom. No line, is no line is a weakness on this team, let's put it that way. Which has got to be nice for Evason and Guerin, where you can literally just roll out four solid lines and not have to worry about, oh crap, what line's on the ice for the other team? Is it their top line? Are we going to, if we get caught here, will we get, screwed over? Or will it basically, it's just got to be nice to have four solid lines and a defense pairings that are actually decent. The depth on our D-line is actually pretty good, all things considered, Even Jordie Benn, the guy that I was kind of hoping would probably be, thrown back down into, more of a depth / cut roll / it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Jordie Benn and Rask and those guys once Brodin gets back, because Calen Addison actually got sent back to Iowa, which tells me that Brodin is going to be back within, I'd say, the next few weeks or so, or at least the next few games, potentially. I really don't know there, but, I mean, you got to imagine it's going to be close. Spurgeon came back last night and literally got our scoring started. So that was nice to see him back. And again, Jordy Ben, going back to him, you know. He actually got his first goal as a Minnesota Wild. Also, Connor Dewar. Cheers to you, buddy. Connor Dewar got his first goal as an NHL player. I mean, say what you want, but it's just like all the lines were moving here. And even former Minnesota Wild Rem Pitlick scored last night for the Canadiens. It was him and Mike Hoffman were the only two goal scorers for the Canadiens. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see moving forward just what the Wild do. Just how they continue to roll the lines or how they kind of play with the lines. And especially since Boldy was called up and has been playing, I mean, him and Fiala now have a chemistry like Kaprizov and Zuccarello did last year. Like, I mean, it has woken up Kevin Fiala, which is good. I mean, because there was about a 10-game stretch there where Fiala, I mean, good God, he couldn't even sniff the net. And when he sniffed the net, for some reason, it was either a goalie save of the year candidate or he just missed. I mean, it was starting to get frustrating for him, which, I mean, understandable, but yeah, I mean, but now since Boldy's been up, Boldy's been a big contributor too. I mean, he already has 3 goals, and I think he's only been up for like 10 games. I mean, so yeah, which will be huge because, again, going into the next couple seasons, well, let's just say money's going to be a massive issue. Yikes. Which is, again, promising to see all of our young talent and all of our young stars playing as well as they are. So, but yeah, again, the Minnesota Wild are now 25-10-3 after drumming the Montreal Canadiens, and we get to go take on both the Rangers and the Islanders over the next 4 or 5 days, and it's not going to get any easier from there, because yeah, since they redid the schedule and stuff like that, I mean, we go up against Chicago again, Winnipeg, Carolina, Detroit. I mean, we're starting to pick things up again. Florida's another team we go up against, too, next month. A lot of rescheduled games are going to start coming, you know, into play here, and it's going to be something like 40 games in, like, 80 days or something. It's like, it's going to be nuts. And which, again, makes the injury to Talbot that much scarier if we have to keep riding Kakinen into the ground. Which, because Talbot looked good last night, minus that first shot, which I'm not going to lie, kind of had me going, oh boy. But again, it is what it is. The Wild then rattled off 5 straight goals before the Montreal Canadiens could get another one, so there we go. You know? But again, now is when the real schedule begins for the Wild. Now is when the schedule picks up, the meat grinder starts. I mean, it's going to be crazy between now and, I'd say, March. So, but yeah, like I say, stay tuned. And basically, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Boy, it's nice to see a team actually, you know, playing as a team, unlike last year with the Vikings. Oh, boy. But yeah, there's been some interesting developments there, too, it sounds like. But again, I'm not really one to spread gossip and this and that and the other thing, and plus there's plenty of other YouTubers that have. Anyway, but again, it's just nice to see because right now the Wild are looking like the team for the 4 male professional Minnesota sports leagues. At least the top 4 North American sports leagues. Not really sure how the MLS is looking with the Loons there, but I mean, yeah. This team right here looks like a Stanley Cup contender. Granted, all it takes is one or two injuries here or there to really derail a season, but so far, again, with the way our team has looked, the way our depth has looked, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, but yeah, again, that'll wrap it up for me. So until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.